What's going on, Team Takeover, Internets? What's going on? Wayne Shada here with my boy Ryan Ventura from lowkick.com. Ryan, thank you for coming on. What's going on?
Not much, man. What's up? What's up? First and foremost, big shout-outs to the whole Team Takeover Nation. I mean, before I was doing the whole lowkick.com thing and becoming a professional journalist, I was just like you guys on the forums, mingling with Bloodstain Lane, Fletch, Stu, the whole crew. Big shout-outs to all you guys. I never forgot my roots.
Yeah, there you go, man. But, you know, I appreciate lowkick.com. I always use their stats and stuff, so I'm really actually honored to have you. I'm honored to have you, so this is like a real big deal.
Thank you.
Either way, this vlog's been taking so long, man, because of scheduling and blackouts. I mean, between the plagues, it's either going to be some type of plague or something. So if this gets cut off, my bad.
Don't jinx it, man. Don't jinx it. We're here now. We're talking MMA.
Dude, you've been through a lot too because you went to the hockey finals and then they had like this huge riot there, and now and then there's a blackout. What else is next for you?
Oh my God, you have to, man. That broke my heart. I mean, the Vancouver Canucks, I ride or die with my team all day, every day. Unfortunately, we lost in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Obviously, most of the world saw what happened to my city. Really unfortunate, sad day. We're over it now. We're cleaning that up. You know, we're not a riot city. We're good people. We're Canadians. And then, you know, then the day when we were supposed to do the vlog, the whole city had a blackout, which was pretty whack. That lasted for about an hour and a half, and, you know, you're on East Coast time, so you have to go to bed, and, you know, I was left with no electricity for an hour and a half. That sucked.
We got it. We're getting it done now, so let's go. Okay. First fight, UFC 132, Carlos Condit versus Dong Young Kim. I actually thought Condit was going to win. This was really evenly matched, in my opinion. This could have gone either way prior to it. I thought Condit was going to win just because he's a Greg Jackson guy, and I know those guys come in and get it done. Condit won flying knee first round, I believe, and wins by ground and pound. What are your thoughts?
You know what? The funny thing was, when I did my predictions for lowkick.com, I actually predicted that Condit would do something to Kim similar to what he did to Dan Hardy. Because, you know, we saw what he did to Dan Hardy, spectacular hook knockout, right? Well, instead of the hook, Kim got hit with a big flying knee. It was pretty spectacular. I don't know if you noticed it. He actually faked like a knee with the other leg and then went with the other knee and hit Kim with it. It just came out of nowhere. It was spectacular.
Yeah, Mazzagatti, I think, was the judge. I think there was a little bit of the people that I was with. We usually watch UFCs in a little party in Brooklyn, and
okay, cool.
Everybody was like, "Oh, sure enough, Mazzagatti's on top of it," you know. So, did you think that was even a late call? Because if I was a ref, I would let things go a couple. I'd be a horrible ref. I'd let things go until a guy gets clean knocked out.
From what I observed when Kim got hit with the knee, like Condit got a few shots in, but you know I think it was the right time. I mean, you know, sometimes with the knee, you're not sure if it hits. Like remember when Frank Mir in the second fight with Brock Lesnar, he hit Lesnar with the knee, but like Lesnar wasn't done. You know what I mean? Right? Whereas like Kim, like he got hit with the knee and Mazzagatti let him. It was Mazzagatti, wasn't it?
The second fight?
The Kim Condit fight.
Yeah, it was Mazzagatti.
Yeah. Well, you know, he let it go for a bit, and I think it was the right call, man. I mean, if you get hit with that knee clean to the chin, you know, you're down and out. You're done. Nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And Kim's a good fighter. He will be back. He will be back.
Yeah, and kind of surprising it ended this way. Not surprised that Condit won, but there's not much to talk about. So what do you think Condit has left? I mean, where do you see Condit now?
Personally, I think he should be next in line for the winner of Nick Diaz versus GSP. I mean, if GSP can beat Nick Diaz, I don't see anyone else besides Nick Diaz that GSP can fight in that division, you know. And if Nick Diaz beats GSP, I think Carlos Condit would be a wonderful challenge for Nasty Nick from the 209. other than that, like I've heard rumors that Condit is probably going to take a fight before going into the title fight because, there's going to be a long layoff and wait. He wants to stay fresh. But, we saw what happened to Anthony Pettis when he fought Clay Guida. He didn't want to wait for the title shot with Edgar and Maynard. So, he took a fight and, that went ass backwards. It actually backfired in him and he lost, right? And he got exposed. But, I think Condit should be next in line. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I actually think Condit should be next in line. Not that I don't think he's a contender. I don't think he'll win the title. I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
But I think he should be next in line. He's paid his dues. Second fight of the night, Tito Ortiz versus Ryan Bader. I don't know if you want to talk about it first. I do. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
It wins. First off, Tito goes for a little flurry, knocks Bader down, and Bader hits the mat. Tito grabs him with the guillotine choke, finishes him off. I expected Bader to win this. I thought he was going to overpower him. But I can tell you this, back in the day, I think I read a statistic. This, UFC 32 was headlined by Tito Ortiz, and here he is, 100 events afterwards. Ortiz is on the card. And this was a big fight for him. I thought that I was just so happy that he won. I don't care for Ortiz now. I don't care for him now because a lot of I don't like excuses when you lose a fight. But I was so very happy that he won, and I don't know why, but I was excited to see him. I have a love-hate relationship with him. I hate to see him go, but I love to see him get knocked out or hurt or whatever.
As a kid growing up, I grew up just like you. I know you're a huge pro wrestling mark. During that time, when I was starting to get into MMA, Tito Ortiz was one of those early figures that I remember. And I actually liked his antics because, he was very good at selling a fight. He was good at conveying emotion. He made people like you, people like me, you either really he really hated him or you either really loved him, right? Mm-hmm. And he was good at that. And I've been a Tito fan because he can bring out that emotion in people. Lots of people out there would say, Tito's too old. Tito's a can, right? Or there's other guys out there that would say he's one of the greatest of all time. And I think it was a touching moment to see him get that win. He was the big time underdog.
Yeah,
right? I actually predicted Ryan Bader would finish Tito in the first round because logically speaking, on paper, you think that Ryan Bader would have better boxing, better wrestling, and he's much younger, hungrier, faster, right? Everything. He just seems like he's better all around on paper, and it's a Rocky story that Tito Ortiz would even be able to do this. Hit Ryan Bader with a punch and then connect with the guillotine choke, which would eventually win the fight for him. It's touching story.
Yeah, I'm happy. About it. I'm so excited. The celebration was great, and like you said, I think sometimes the pro wrestling market in me loved Tito Ortiz, but I'm happy he won. So I don't know who people are calling for him to fight. I don't know who.
I think it's too soon to say that Tito Ortiz is still a legit contender in the sport. I mean, he hasn't won a fight since 2006, 2007. That was in the third fight with Ken Shamrock. And, Ken Shamrock is a legend, but his best days were way behind him when he fought Tito at that time, right? And, it's still too early to tell if Tito's best days are behind him, but, maybe he could fight the winner of Shogun versus Forrest. Who knows?
That'd be interesting. I don't know. He'll still be the underdog.
Oh yeah, for sure. He'll always be the underdog, I think, going on from here, because there's so many doubts. But Ryan Bader, 2 losses in a row. You must think that if he loses his next fight, he could lose his UFC job,
That's pretty interesting too, considering the fact that he was just the other day a contender for the title. So, and the way that UFC fans with the one and done. It's pretty ridiculous sometimes.
Actually, you know what? There's one fight that, for some reason, I would like to see it. I would like to actually see Vladimir Matyashenko take on Tito.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. I was about to mention that. But either way, third fight, Dennis Seaver versus Matt Wyman. I had Seaver winning this. by decision. I thought that if Sotiropoulos couldn't take him down, that Wyman wouldn't be able to. I thought Seaver would knock him out, but Wyman put up a good fight. First round was clearly Seaver. Second round was clearly Wyman. Wyman took him down, gave him a couple of those elbows. I'm not a big fan of these elbows too. I think all it does is cut guys. I'm really against the elbows.
It doesn't really do any legit damage. It's just what's it called? What's the word? It's like cosmetic damage. Yeah. It's like it looks bad, but it's not really that bad. I don't know if you noticed, going to the third round, Seaver wasn't bleeding anymore.
No, he wasn't.
Cut.
He wasn't.
Right, he was good. He was good. It just looked bad from the second round.
Right, and the third round, I think, is the most controversial for a lot of people. Looking into it initially, I was still kind of in shock over the Tito thing. So I wasn't paying attention as much as I usually do towards the fight.
Okay.
But I thought it could have gone either way. I was leaning towards Wyman winning, but I was happy Seaver won because I like Seaver more. So I was cheering, I'll take it. I'll take it for Seaver. But I did look online and saw what people were saying. There was a lot of controversy. I rewatched the third round specifically because I didn't think the other two were anything controversial. And I thought the judges called it right. I thought Seaver. I thought Seaver won the rounds. I thought I was a fool for even thinking Wyman even did anything to win the round.
Well, that happens. It's like when you watch the fight at first glance. When I was watching the fight for the first time, I thought that Seaver won the first round, and in my mind at the time, I thought Wyman won the second round and the third round. But then I watched it a second time, and then I looked at my CompuStrike app that I have access to at lowkick.com. It's basically the live stats for every strike, takedown, submission attempt. We have access to those statistics right on the spot. And I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, wow. One statistic that really stood out was that Wyman attempted 16 takedowns the whole fight, but only got 5.
Right.
He only got 5. He only managed 5 takedowns, whereas Seaver, I believe, he outstruck him a big, outrageous number. I don't have the statistics with me right now, but according to what I was looking at from CompuStrike and from what I seen in the fight, Wyman did win the second round, but the third round was Seaver, so it was correct.
Right. So either way, I'm rooting for Seaver again. I hope we see more of Seaver in the future. It becomes
Yeah,
I like his style. Man.
Oh yeah, for sure. You got to support the guys with the striking background. I love it.
Yeah. Fourth fight of the night. Very emotional fight for me. Wanderlei Silva versus Chris Lieben. Silva loses in 28 seconds. I may talk about this more than anything else.
Me too.
There's a lot going on in this fight. You could talk about the history of both these guys. It's kind of like student teacher, and it's almost like the way I can explain it. Their fighting styles are so extremely similar. It was as if Wanderlei was looking into the mirror, and on the other side, it was a guy with red hair and tattoos. Right.
That's how similar it was. I mean, it broke my heart to see Wandy, to see him get taken out like that. But that's the fight game for you. I mean, he's been fighting like that for so long, and that's why fans like you and me and the whole Team Takeover Nation and all the MMA fans, we are such big Wanderlei Silva fanatics that we forget that he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's in his 30s, and he's been fighting the same way all these years. Eventually, your chin, it's not going to be the same anymore.
Let me ask you something though. I want to look at this. I kind of want to. Here's what I'm still not over the loss. I'm definitely still not over the loss.
Yeah, me too. But,
the whole
something we have to get over.
This whole weekend, on 4th of July, my friend was with me and we were partying, and he's like, "Oh man, he's drunk too, and he goes every hour he goes, "Man, Wandy lost. I can't believe Wandy lost. I can't believe." Now, let me ask you a question. How much of this is chin versus bad game planning. Because here's what I saw. I saw a guy come in against a very, very powerful puncher and go straight head on. And against, against, I think a lot of fighters, the majority of that division, if you walk straight up against Chris Lieben, you know, you're going to get knocked out if you get hit in the face 6 times with uppercuts. I mean, he basically did the hockey thing, which is you grab and you uppercut.
He did the dirty boxing for sure.
Wanderley's been what? I don't have the statistics. If I'm correct, he's 2-6. Okay.
He's 2-6 in the UFC.
He's lost against Rich Franklin, which, in my opinion, either could have gone to a draw or a win for Wandy. Honestly, that fight could have gone either way. I don't even think that should, in my opinion. You know, I know on paper technically it does count, but you know, I don't think that loss should be against him. I mean, he fought Chuck again, another fight that, you know, a hard-fought fight. That doesn't seem that a fight that you can go, oh, Wanderley's done. He's gotten knocked out by Rampage, and he beat Jardine, and he beat Bisping. Is this a sign that he's done? Because I'm not convinced that he's done. I really don't. I think we were talking about it on July 4th, and we were saying, you know, if he had kind of approached this fight the way he fought Bisping.
Oh, yeah, man. And he fought Bisping? Oh, yeah, go on.
And fought Bisping the way he fought Lieben, I think he would have knocked Bisping out. I think he would have possibly, you never know, beat Lieben. And we wouldn't be having this talk. The guy's coming off a loss let's say, top 5 in that division in the UFC, not in the world. You're going from beating the top 5 to, oh, this guy should retire. I don't see it. Maybe it's the nut hugger in me. I don't think I have chills talking about it. I don't think Juan's done yet. I just think he approached this wrong. He approached it wrong. This is what I think. In my heart of hearts, I would never want anybody, Wanderlei especially, to get hurt or get knocked out. But how much is this a bad game plan? The guy, I hope he learns off of this and goes, hey, maybe I shouldn't be taking on these guys head on anymore. You know, yeah, maybe my chin is done a little bit, but I mean, come on, is this really? I don't think he's done. You know?
No, you know what? I'm not fully convinced that he's done either. But at the same time, if he does choose to ride off into the sunset and, you know, retire on his shield, I don't have a problem with that either. I'm actually okay with both. You are completely right. If he approached this fight the way he did Michael Bisping, like, I liked his pace against Bisping, where it was like, he was patient, he was picking his shots, and then, you know, like, a few seconds left into the round, that's when he come up with that famous Wanderlei flurry, right? You know, I like that. I like exactly that game plan, and it was just too bad that he didn't use that against Chris Lieben. It might have been a combination of getting, you know, caught up into the fight, you know, like the emotion and the adrenaline of it, you know, like he wanted to put on a show for the fans, you and me, you know, because that's what he's made a career out of, right?
I don't know, man. I don't think he's done just yet. I know a lot of people are, even on the forum too, man. I mean, even the Team Takeover members are saying it themselves, and I respect their opinion. I definitely, but in my heart of hearts, I don't see the guy done. The problem is you have, let's say if he did beat Lieben, he is fighting more tougher guys. He's got to have to fight Vitor. And Vitor's got heavy hands. He's got to fight possibly Anderson. You know, Anderson Silva, heavy hands. Shale, he's just a workhorse. I don't know how that would go, but Shale can knock him out too. And you know, Okami. There's other guys there. I still don't think he's done. I would love to see him. I would watch Wanderlei fight anybody and be fully entertained. I think it's a bad business move on the UFC's part for even mentioning that he's done. I don't know, man.
I think it's like the same thing as like the Chuck Liddell situation. It's like the people really love Chuck Liddell. They love to see Chuck Liddell, and like it could be like a health concern. I mean, you take years of punishment. If you think about it, Wanderlei Silva has been fighting professionally since his teens, and he's 34, 35 now, right? So he's been in the fight game for 16, 15 years, right? And he's been taking all that punishment for that long, right? And it could be a medical concern, to have him to keep fighting. And I'm not saying that I want him to be done, because like I said, I'm a huge fan too. I grew up on the Axe Murderer, right? And I just for his sake as a human being, I don't want to see him be knocked unconscious like that ever again.
Right, and I feel the same way. But if you had to, I mean, if you're Dana White, what do you say? Do you let him go one more fight? And who do you pick? Or do you not have him fight again?
You know what? If he's really that down to fight again, I'd give him one more. But against who? I don't know, because like not that I'm concerned about who he would fight. It's just I don't know who I'd match him up against at this moment in time.
Yeah, and
it's too early.
Another thing that serves as a problem is, are you feeding him an opponent? Yeah,
that's the other thing. Like, are you giving him a squash match, a gimme match?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Like, give it a few more months. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, Wanderlei on Twitter has made it clear that all he can think about is revenge, and he wants to get back into the cage ASAP. Right. And, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a much more mature Wanderlei Silva if he does come back again.
Yeah, I don't think Cordero was telling him, go straight ahead, I think that was definitely emotion. No. Definitely emotion.
Yeah, that was pure adrenaline.
Yeah. So, the last fight of the night, Dominic Cruz versus Uriah Faber. Back and forth fight. This card, let me first off say, was top to bottom. And actually, I watched some of the prelims. I know I don't go over them, but the prelims were good as well. As far as the card itself, the UFC did an amazing job. I mean, obviously it's not, Dana White going out there saying, you guys do this, whatever. But, we had 2 decisions. This fight went to a decision, but each fight was entertaining,
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot of controversies again online about judging. This fight, first off, I thought Faber did a great job of pressing Cruz in the first round. I thought Faber did good. I thought he actually gassed Cruz out a lot.
Cruz seemed to lose the spring in his step after the third round. That's
so the first round seemed to be like a really, really energetic round, and Faber did a great job. I actually didn't think Cruz would last the whole fight, and kudos to him. I did have Cruz winning this. I thought Cruz was going to win. I had Faber winning the first and the fourth round, if I'm correct. Some people are making a big deal. If I'm correct, Faber knocked Cruz down for like a second in the fourth round.
Yeah, there were moments when Cruz got dropped, but that was about it.
Yeah, but it wasn't anything that I think the only significant knockdown that I saw was in the fourth, where it came from actual blow and not more of like body weight, kind of having to deal with it. But nonetheless, Cruz composed himself and wins. Great fight. There's nothing more to say except, what do you think happens next for both these guys? Or what are your comments about this fight?
Well, to me, it went exactly the way I thought it would go. Like, I mean, Uriah Faber, like, there's no one in the Team Alpha Male that can emulate what Dominic Cruz can do, like that footwork and that head movement and his brand of MMA boxing. It's very unorthodox, and there's no one really out there that can duplicate that. It's kind of like Nick Diaz's brand of boxing, Like, there's not too many guys that can emulate that style, and it's very difficult to train for a guy like Diaz. But anyways, back to Cruz. Like, Cruz did a wonderful job staying off the ground. The fight the fight really wasn't on the ground at all. It was on the feet for a big majority of the fight. I don't even think more than 2 minutes was spent on the ground for all 5 rounds, according to CompuStrike. Wonderful fight overall, and I honestly think that there's no one right now in the bantamweight division that can beat Cruz. Maybe like down the road we can see a Cruz going back up to 145 and fighting Aldo. Who knows?
Yeah. What do you think is next for both these guys? I think they should do a rematch, but I don't know. What do you think?
No, at this point in time, I can't see a trilogy going down until like Faber wins maybe 2-3 more fights and earns his shot back. Right now, I think Cruz is untouchable. There's no one in bantamweight in the UFC at the moment that can beat him.
Wow. I kind of disagree with you a little bit, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I thought the fight could have gone either way. Definitely. I was shocked one judge had it 5-0. But like you said, there's nobody else that could actually kind of step up to Cruz.
Well, if you think about it right now, the bantamweight division in MMA in general, like or more like in the UFC in general, like they're like it's still a young division and it hasn't really developed and matured yet, and no one has solved the puzzle of Dominic Cruz just yet.
Yeah,
I think you were saying.
I think we're gonna see a trilogy just to see the trilogy. The UFC gets off on that. That's what I mean when I disagree with you. I think that we're going to see it at a default because Faber's a big deal in MMA, and people are going to pay to see him fight for the title, and
for sure.
He does have a following.
He's a huge draw.
Yeah, and he has
absolutely
a big following.
Uriah Faber. You can argue Uriah Faber is one of the biggest stars in North American MMA for sure, right? It's just that his stock value is gonna go down like right if they put him into the trilogy fight right away and Faber loses, like his prestige and his stock value is gonna go way down.
Right. So
like they have to give him like 2 to 3 competitive fights to earn his shot back to fight Uriah Faber, so that the fans can believe that he has a chance again.
Yeah. So I mean that's pretty much it. UFC 132, pretty much that's a recap. Ryan,
cool.
Lowkick.com, amazing website. TeamTakeover.tv, just as good, if not better. No offense.
Yeah, for sure. No, none taken at all, man. Like once again, big shout outs to my team and my family at lowkick.com. You guys giving me a big chance, and now I get to interview fighters and do what I love and get paid to do it. Thanks, guys. Team Takeover. Without you guys, I wouldn't even have these opportunities. Big shout outs to Knox for giving me this close, and big shout outs to Quest for Glory FC. I'm actually the ring announcer here in Vancouver for a local MMA Muay Thai promotion.
Nice.
Thanks.
So
hello.
Yeah, I'm here still. I don't know if you can hear me, but either way, I guess that's a sign of probably another global catastrophe or something going down. But let me end this now while we can.
Scary. Yeah.
But either way, TeamTakeover.tv, check it out. Thank you, Ryan Ventura, for showing up with me. I'm sure we'll definitely be on this again. It was really an honor. I had fun, man.
Don't be a stranger, man. Hit me up on Twitter, Facebook. I'm everywhere, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. Either way, thank you guys. Shout out to Bloodstained Lane and everybody from Team Takeover. Peace.
Peace.